Hi, I'm Suzanne, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada. Welcome to another paper pumpkin alternative video on my blog and YouTube channel. If you are a present customer of mine and are watching this video, you might be considering the paper pumpkin kit. Please find the link below to see the perks I offer my subscribers. Or, if you don't have a demonstrator and live in Canada, I would love to earn your business. So please check the link below for more information. If you are already a subscriber to Paper Pumpkin, please enjoy these alternatives as an inspiration to further stretch your kit. Here's a super quick look at the Paper Pumpkin for October 2017. For my first card, I will take one of the plaid card bases and cut it in half. And then I have this adhesive from Stampin' Up. It's made by Sizzix. It's a thin, very thin sheet of adhesive. So I'm applying that to the back of a piece of Whisper White, and then I'm going in with my Seasonal Layers snowflakes and my precise die cutting machine. And now this is my die brush, and I'm poking out all those intricate pieces with that little brush. It's very handy. And there's my snowflake. So I also just hand cut a scoopy kind of a roundness from the bottom half of that Whisper White. So now I'm stamping in the cherry cobbler that the kit came in. I'm just using the larger one from my stash, and it says, "Have a joyful Christmas and a new year." And I'm applying fast fuse adhesive to the back of that card front, and I'm going to place it on a thick Whisper White card base. And I did find that this card needed a little something extra, so I did go in, and you'll see in the picture, I used some of that those gold banners, and I just framed the sentiment with that. So this is how easy this adhesive works. It's phenomenal. I just have to peel off the backing, and all of those beautiful snowflakes that are pretty intricate will stick to my card base. So that's my first card. My second card is using sponges. So I have a piece of Whisper White, thin, and I have popped out the center or the circle from the kit, and I'm using Daffodil Delight and Pumpkin Pie. So those are how I store my sponges. I've had people ask before. I just got this, I think it's a bead holder. I got it at the dollar store. I have one for every family and one for ink colors. And that's how I keep my sponges, just with the color of the ink and attached to the stapled on the corner. And now I'm using the second smallest that's in the kit. And I have decided to use Bermuda Bay and Pacific Point just because the brights were out, and that's the colors that I chose for my Christmas balls. And I actually had to go and get the negative piece for that larger circle so that I could mask that off a little bit. So basically, yeah, I'm using the die cuts that came in the kit as a mask. And when I sponge, you can see that I'm tapping off on a little piece of paper. It's to season the stamp or season the sponge, and B, it's to tap off any extra ink. I want to go on fairly dry so that you can see the variation in color. You can see that there's darker bits and lighter bits. All right, so now I had to make my own with just an extra piece of Whisper right there. And look at me, I was smart, and I decided to adhere those with some washi tape. And yeah, so then I used lemon lime twist and old olive. And just, again, tapping off what I don't need on that little piece of paper, and then coming in with the darker very, very lightly. And I will be putting some Wink of Stella over this. So if there are any marks, I will even it out a little bit with the Wink of Stella. But basically, that's how you sponge. I tried to leave the center a little bit lighter. All right, so you can see this ball attacher. I don't even know what this is called. If there is somebody who knows the name of these things, I would like to know, because I struggle with it all the time. So it's like a Christmas ball attacher thing. And I cut it out, fussy cut it. Then I just used a ruler, and this is my gray marker, and I just drew a little line for the string, and then I adhered the thingamadoo with fast fuse. And then here's my Wink of Stella, and I went over all the Christmas balls. And yeah, I didn't stick to red. Red is, it can be in your face. So I wanted to go with a little bit more subtle colors for my Christmas balls. And I did use red finally for the sentiment, which I almost forgot. I don't know what's up with me these days, but I forget sentiments now, like I never used to. Good grief. Maybe it's because it's red. Red is not my favorite color. I like cherry cobbler better than real red, but you know, just saying. It's a holiday color and I don't usually use it in the holidays. All right, so I'm just folding up the card base, and you can see that these shaker bits, the kit came with shaker bits, and there was a lot of leftover or middle pieces. I think that was leftover. Anyway, I'm using it as dimensionals, or like to pop my card front up. And, you know, it's quite sizable, so I'm having fun. And I left the circles and the little strips inside because I know I'm going to be needing those. But yeah, removing the backing and putting it on that plaid card base, and there you go. That's the first one, or the second one I should say. Okay, so my next one is pretty simple, and I'm using heat embossing and the Merry Mistletoe stamp set. If you got it was a pre-order a little while ago, and I will be using the die cuts here in a little bit. So basically I've treated my card base with embossing, my embossing buddy, and then I'm going with my Versamark, and I'm stamped the reindeer from that stamp set, Merry Mistletoe, and the greeting from the card kit. And now I will be sprinkling on some white embossing powder and heating it again from behind. Personal preference. I like to do it from the back. And yeah, that's pretty much, I mean, really, it doesn't need much more. I really like that striking white against the plaid. And I did ask a Scottish person if it was supposed to be plaid or plaid, and she said plaid. So just so you know, if you're saying plaid, you're saying it right. All right, and then that's card number 3. Okay, so this one, like I said, I was going to use the thinlits from that Merry Mistletoe. I think this is called Card Builder Thinlits. Card Front Builder. Card Front Builder. Okay, so I cut a little tree out of the Card Front Builder dies, and now I'm using the stamps from the kit, the snowflakes. I'm using the big one here, and then the smaller one in a bit, filling it up. And I know this is a little boring, so I've shortened it. And I've also done the sentiment. So the sentiment says, "Season's greetings." And I will be sprinkling white embossing powder again over the card front. Oh, and did I mention it was crumb cake that I've decided to use for this card, the card base. I don't know what it is about crumb cake and white, but I quite like that look as well. Okay, so heating it from behind and setting all that embossing powder, waiting for it to cool. I've used a little strip from the kit of that dimensional adhesive. And now I'm just going to place my little tree right in the center. My favorite kinds of cards are very simple, so I really like this one. little bit of Wink of Stella on that Christmas tree, and that card is complete. All right, so moving on, I have this card to share. I'm using Old Olive here. It's a 5.5 by 8.5 card scored at 4 1/4. I folded the front card back, or forward, I guess, just evenly. So I'm going to share with you some of the sizes I don't normally, because I can't keep numbers straight and I'm not really good in math. But I have stamped Have a Joyful Christmas and New Year, and I cut this Whisper White piece down to 2 3/4 by 2. My black piece, which mats it, is 2 7/8 by 2 1/8. So now my plaid is 5 1/4 by 1 7/8, and my black is 5 3/8 by 2. And I've put that on the front. Now the back here, the black mat is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and the plaid is 5 1/4 by 4. All these numbers and quarters and this and that. Okay, so then I've adhered that to the front of the card, or sorry, to the inside of the card, and then put adhesive on the left side of the greeting. Place that front and center. And here's a little trick for you. If you want to, I have another piece of white, 2 3/4 by 2, and I just line that up equally right behind the sentiment and then close the back of the card. So now I know that it's right, the right place. So I have used my fine tip glue pen here, and I'm using this is called a katana. And I got sucked in buying it, and it's awesome, but it's pretty pricey. It's like $25 for a piece of wood with a little bit of wax on it, but I do like it. And I'm picking up my star confetti from the kit and just adhering that down. I did it on the inside too. So really cute. Love this one. And it opens up. It's like a fun fold, but it's not really that complicated or hard. Okay, so this is the very last card for this October 2017 Paper Pumpkin Kit. I have cut 3 circles from my layering circles. I have, again, those little dimensional adhesives from the kit. I've used one on one of the balls, and then I just used dimensional adhesive on the other, and they're difference in height by double. So, or well, half. So the dimensional adhesive that comes in the kit is twice as thick as regular dimensionals. So you can see what I'm doing here. These are the gold banners that come in the kit. I've just put fast fuse on them, and now I'm using them for those thingamadoos that are on the Christmas balls, the Christmas ball hangers things, but they're not really the hangers. They're the, I don't even know. Someone help me out here. If they've got to have a name. Anyway, so cut those and placing the balls where I would like them to go. Then I realized, okay, I need to hang them. So I pulled out one of my old Paper Pumpkin kits, and I had some extra twine. This could have been from a card kit, I'm not sure. But anyway, any kind of twine that you may have that is gold or green or black or whatever, use what you got. And then I adhered this one flat on my Whisper White thick card base. And then I realized, well, I've got to glue down the back of those pieces of twine. So, okay, I'll wing it here and look like I know what I'm doing. But really, I'm all backwards. It's just the way it is recently. I'm sorry. Okay, so I've adhered the balls here, picking where I want them to go, and I will use some Scotch tape. I will tape down the string, and then I'm going to have to cut this card base in half and adhere it to a different card base, because I don't want those strings to, show. It'll wreck the effect if you have that hanging on the inside, let me tell you. So I had to think a little bit quicker here. All right, trimmed off the excess of this, and I'm bringing my trimmer out. I will slice that card base in half, and then I'm also going to take just a tiny bit off. So it turns out to be 4 1/4 by 4. And then I also took the half of the plaid, and I'm using that as a mat, and it's full, so it's 5 1/4 by 4. And I put that on another Whisper White card base. So again, almost forgot my sentiment. It's called, or it reads Glad Tidings of Joy. And I stamped that in the cherry cobbler. And then I'm using some of the dimensional adhesive from the kit and cutting it away and placing it on the back of my card. So even though this paper pumpkin kit is late, I really actually enjoyed all of the cards that came out of it that I created. So thanks so very much for joining me and having patience, and I will see you again soon. Bye. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. On screen are 2 more videos for inspiration. Click on the maple leaf to visit my website, or click on me to subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for watching.